Most 72-year-olds spend their days gardening, failing to grasp how a remote control works, and making dodgy remarks about minorities. Well, not this guy. Apart from maybe that last part. Vince McMahon instead prefers to get the crap beaten out of him by his employees, and despite the fact blood is still outlawed under his watch due to massive financial agreements with sponsors, spurt his bodily fluids all over the place like a teenage boy whose parents have gone away for the weekend. The novelty of blood in the modern product is such that red equals green. Either intentional or by accident, the few times WWE have resorted to literally opening up old wounds in recent years have yielded impressive results. With that in mind, I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and this is the 10 most shocking appearances of blood in the PG era. Number 10. Randy Orton, SummerSlam 2016. What's your favourite thing about the summer? Ice cream? Getting a tan? Those fancy cocktails with a little umbrella in them? Or a former cage fighter elbowing another man in the head until he's lying in a pool of his own congealed blood? Summertime! Summer! Never has there been a more blatant advert for blading than Orton vs Lesnar at last year's SummerSlam. Considering they were only feuding because creative had nothing for them to do at WWE's second biggest show of the year, we all expected them to put on a memorable main event. And in a way, I suppose they succeeded. The only thing more shocking than seeing Orton with a forehead that resembled the elevator at the Overlook Lodge was the subsequent revelation that Lesnar had claimed he could bust Randy open safely. Number 9. Daniel Bryan at SmackDown April 2015. Just like my first sexual experience, this is a hard one to look back on. Having missed nearly all of 2014's post-WrestleMania calendar through injury, Bryan returned to claim the Intercontinental title with a new addition to his offense: a flurry of headbutts. And although it aided his victory at WrestleMania 31, it brought his title defense on SmackDown against Sheamus to an abrupt halt after he bludgeoned himself in the spot. Dazed, he rolled to the outside only to receive another blow to the head from ringside commentator Bad News Barrett, and the show ended to the sight of the champion's bloody convulsions. Number 8. CM Punk, Monday Night Raw, August 2012. Blading, the practice of intentionally cutting oneself to provoke bleeding, has been banned since WWE went PG in 2008. Back in the good old days, they used to do it quite a lot, you know. Just look at Abdullah the Butcher's head here. He looks like his barber is Wolverine. Like a farmer has just ploughed the top of his head. Like he worries sideways. Anyway, during his record-breaking title run, CM Punk decided to roll back the years in a match against Jerry Lawler by blatantly gigging in the middle of their steel cage match. Considering previous offenders had been heavily fined or punished, it was pretty brave of the voice of the voiceless to flaunt the rules so blatantly, but he escaped scot-free for the self-inflicted gash. Not only that, but the contest claret controversy ensured the match was a talking point and elevated its status above other forgettable Raw main events. Number 7. John Cena, Monday Night Raw, April 2012. After returning on the post-WrestleMania 28 Raw to F5 John Cena and punt his green baseball cap to the moon, Brock Lesnar followed that up the next week by pulling no punches. Literally. Setting the template for Lesnar segments for years to come, he had an explosive pull-apart with Cena which left Big Match John resembling an extra in 28 days later. And this preempted their bloody and breathtaking Extreme Rules match weeks later. Number 6. Randy Orton, Money in the Bank 2014. Money in the Bank montages often show wrestlers falling from terrifying heights or collapsing in exhaustion in an effort to exhibit the physical torture they brave to claim the briefcase. But, like parents explaining childbirth to their innocent kids, the gruesome stuff is missed out. You won't see many replays of Randy Orton getting clobbered by a ladder back in 2014, and with good reason. Bathed in his own blood while competing for Daniel Bryan's recently vacated WWE World Heavyweight title, the Viper needed 12 stitches to close the Grand Canyon-esque chasm on his head. I suppose at least this time he didn't get a concussion, eh? Plus, could be worse, he could be number 5. CM Punk, Money in the Bank 2013. Yep, the previous year, the red stuff, clearly becoming the new Shelton Benjamin of Money in the Bank, had another starring role in the ladder match. On this occasion, it was CM Punk requiring stitches after his former advocate Paul Heyman betrayed him just as he seemed destined for victory. After bouncing the ladder off the former champ's back several times, Heyman used it one final time for a brutal headshot that downed Punk for good and broke the hearts of smarky fans everywhere. As Paul Lee departed, the scale of the cut was visible on the Titantron, and although the WWE weren't able to linger on the blood loss for long, it clearly added to the drama of the severance of Heyman and Punk's relationship. Number 4. Matt Hardy, Great Balls of Fire 2017. I'll bet this is something Matt wishes he could delete from history, eh? You see what I did there? God, I'm alone. The Hardy Boys lost teeth and blood cells alike during their hard-hitting feud with The Bar. Jeff had a tooth knocked clean out by half-man, half-chicken Sheamus at Payback, and months later, Matt's eyebrow basically hit self-destruct during their 30-minute Iron Man battle. Matt seeing red in the best match of their lengthy series really added a sense of urgency and panic to the conclusion of the contest. Now, the injury was obviously accidental, but you know what they say about karma, which brings us to number 3. Cesaro, No Mercy 2017. Cesaro and Sheamus against Ambrose and Rollins was already on the way to becoming a memorable encounter when the Swiss Superman made it unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. Propelled by a slingshot from Ambrose, Cesaro flew like only superheroes can face first into the ring post, seemingly breaking his front teeth in the process. The reality was even worse, though, after it was subsequently reported that he hadn't broken his gnashers. Oh no, instead, he just pushed them into his upper jaw and become the Thwith Cyborg. Just finishing the match would have been impressive, but the visual of him fighting with a renewed vigor whilst looking like an Isaac Yankem creation was stomach-churningly awesome. Number 2. Brock Lesnar, Monday Night Raw, February 2013. Black and white footage is usually reserved for Charlie Chaplin movies, really old news, or pretentious student film projects. But every now and again, the WWE have to make use of it because one of their wrestlers has decided to kick the action up a notch and bleed like a stuck pig. The pig in question here, and if he finds out I called him that, please tell my family I love them, is Brock Lesnar. Attacked by Triple H, who came out to save Vince from a beast beatdown, Brock split his head open on a ring post, and soon it was entirely covered in claret. Nothing in the subsequent weeks, not even their actual WrestleMania match, came close to this bloody brawl. Number 1. Samoa Joe, NXT TakeOver Dallas. The best case scenario of WWE's potentially destructive and obviously disruptive blood stoppage policy, Samoa Joe's accidental cut suffered in the first moments of his title match against Finn Balor actually helped make their Dallas clash the most heated of their exhilarating efforts. Joe bled so much that it looked more like a horror movie than a wrestling match, and multiple pauses in play were required. This only served to enhance the narrative of mutual hatred between the two. The second, medics would step aside from an understandably grumpy Samoan, who looked like he just finished a hard day's work at the abattoir. They would clash with devastating fury. Balor was eventually victorious via the sleeper reversal used infamously by Bret Hart against Steve Austin, and Finn's desperation, alongside Joe's clear exhaustion due to blood loss, tied in beautifully with their fatiguing fight.